You're allowed to use force as a police officer. It's a privilege you have. 939.45, the Wisconsin statutes lists that privilege. So does SOP 460, so does the DAT manual, so does the officer's training. And you're privileged to use it as long as you're trying to gain control. That's exactly what Detective Gomez was doing. There's no evidence of him acting other than that. For those reasons, this charge cannot be sustained. And I ask the commission to find my way.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. I think that we're ready to deliberate now. All right, very brief.
Thank you. Attorney Matthews trying to say there was some conspiracy to ramrod Detective Gomez. However, he offers no motive. They tried to run it through, they tried to convict him, they tried to do all these bad things. He never says why. It's ridiculous. This investigation was simple, it was run well, it was
I
efficient.
just want to object. That's a mischaracterization of what I said. I specifically stated why it was run through.
And we heard that, and I heard that, so we understand.
The most compelling evidence we have are those two videotapes. They never addressed half of what we talked about on those videotapes. They're just talking about the investigation to hide the ball, using Mr. Matthews' term. We hear all the time that Detective Gomez was acquitted at trial, but so was Mr. Love.
Thank you.
He was acquitted of killing his child. So we have this beat down on this individual performed by this detective on a man who's later acquitted, on a man who they didn't do another interview on because of this beat down. Talk about this Miranda issue. Lieutenant McGillis said right there, this is just an issue I brought up to be discussed. It was his opinion. If you remove the Miranda issue, it's not considered. There was excessive force. There was failure to restrain. And there was violations. In fact, their expert agrees on most of it as well, except for his version of what he saw on those tapes. There was no Miranda issue. This is just being raised as a deflective tactic. You heard Lieutenant McGillis in here say, you know what, I just brought it up. That was a good time for him to step out. He didn't. After that, he continued to beat this man, choke this man, and did not give him a chance to comply.
That's a
Attorney Matthews talks about the fact that we don't have a statement of Mr. Gomez's side. You heard right here, Sergeant Wroblewski asked to do a PI-21 on November 5th, 2013. Right after he had made that request to Detective Gomez ran to his doctor, got a doctor's excuse so he didn't have to give one. He didn't have to give one for 30 to 60 days. It's not that they didn't try to get one. He went to his doctor and got a medical excuse to preclude the PI-21 for 30 to 60 days. We've got to focus on what the issues are in this case. Was the core value violated? All we have to do is look at the videotape, determine that Detective Gomez had his hand or forearm on Mr. Love's throat for 9 seconds. Did he give him a chance to comply? When he was kneeing Mr. Love, when Mr. Love's hands were over his head and he was almost in the fetal position, did he give him a chance to comply? He said no. He just went at him the entire time. Didn't see this, didn't see this, didn't know he was chained to a wall. Excuses, all of them. The discharge should be upheld.
Thank you. Let's move on to deliberations now. I have no idea how long deliberations will take. Mr. Matthews?
I think we should move for the admission of the exhibits at this point.
Okay,
That's
that's
why
fine.
the commissioners are gonna take back their.
That's fine.
If we wanna do that off the record now, so that's fine.
Well, no, let's do that on the record. In what form do you want to make that motion?
I believe, the parties would move together to admit every exhibit except for the Reberg report, which I don't have the exhibit list in front of me, so I apologize. If Attorney Reardon wants to help me out, that would be great.
53?
Exhibit 53, I understand there's gonna be objection to that, I would ask that it again be admitted, it was part of the investigation in this case. So that would be my pitch, otherwise we would request that everything else be admitted jointly.
Correct. Okay, let me find exhibit 53.
It's a cover letter from the.
Yeah, I recall it.